education, and education is entertainment. So I think education will give you entertainment, and you will be hugely entertained by education, which is power. Information is power nowadays. So if we want to build our world and globe a peaceful one, we must ensure education for all the people across the globe. Today we are going to talk about W.S. Auden, a modern poet who was born in 1907 and he died in 1973. He had lots of themes in his poems, but today we are going to just read 9 poems, especially the summary with analysis of the 9 key poems written by W.S. Auden. Firstly, W.S. Auden is a poet of Marxism and Freudianism. He amalgamated Freud and Karl Marx in his poetry, and he has also tried to find a creed through his poetry to fulfill the modern spiritual void. The world, the whole globe is spiritually a void, a big zero, a big chaos. He tried to show this through his poems. And though he is an anti-romantic modern poet, but we still find there are some romantic elements in Auden's poems, especially uh, his poems. The Shield of Achilles is uh, is a very vital poem written by W.B. Yeats, and this poem finds many relevance to modern times. This poem echoes the modern times hollows and hollowness of modern times, and uh, W.S. Auden has also combined political consciousness with personal concern in his poetry, and he is a poet of social consciousness and political consciousness. He is not far away, he is not aloof from political and social consciousness. Besides, since being a poet, he has tried through his poems the celebration of nature in his poetry, and he has also tried to confront modern problems directly in his poetry, and he had tried to find solutions to the modern problems that modern people face nowadays. In addition to this, Auden has tried to use mythological aspects, especially the Greek mythological aspects, in a plethora of times in his poems. He had tried to make a new kind of myth making power. So, W.S. Auden is not only successful in implementing the Greek mythology, but also besides those, he has made a special mythological making power. And there is no poet. Where there is poet, there must be some kind of love. It may be spiritual love, it may be physical love, it may be carnal love, but poems should be focused on love. In this case, W.S. Auden has a very nice conception about love and its significance, and love has a major theme in the key poems of W.B. Yeats. And we already told you that W.S. Auden is an anti-romantic modern poet. He is not a romantic poet. He is a modern poet, but his poems do not belong to the genre called romanticism. His poems belong to the genre which is anti-romantic tradition. And if you write poems, only writing poems cannot give you the title of being a poet. If you want to be a poet in any sort of language, either in English or in Bangla or in Arabic, you must have mastery over that particular language. And Auden had that technical mastery over English language, and that's why we got a lot of poetic tradition of the past, and he is famous for his lyric talent. He had lot of talent in comprising lyric talent. Veronica Sanbhai, hi Veronica, how are you? And where are you talking from? Where are you speaking from? Which country? Please let us know. We are talking about a great romantic American poet of the 21st century, of the 20th century, anti-romantic modern poet who has mixed, blended Freud's theories and Karl Marx's theories. And he is a poet of social consciousness, and also he is a poet of political consciousness. He is also a poet of love, but his love is not normal platonic love or spiritual love. His love is totally materialistic love. His love is from the viewpoint of reality. In this lecture, we will just talk about 9 key poems written by W.H. Auden. And the first name of the poem is Lullaby, or Lay Your Sleeping Hand, My Love. Simply, it's a poem of love, but we will talk about the summary and the simple analysis of this poem. The lullaby begins with the picture of the lover and his beloved together in their night of love or love making. It seems that after their physical intercourse, the beloved has gone to sleep, and the lover wants her to place her hand on his arm. The lover has no illusion, no high, lofty thought about their love. He deserves his beloved as a mere human being. It's nothing but a sum total of flesh. With all human imperfections, with all human flaws, and he himself admits that he is faithless and his love is ephemeral, very short lasting, not everlasting like the romantic tradition type of lovers. As a matter of fact, all things in human life decay and die. Veronica Sandefur, good. I speak English from California. Okay, United States of California. Veronica, did you listen to the song Hotel California? What a lovely place. What a lovely place. Hotel California. Thank you for joining from California. One of my friends also live in California. Some days ago, we had seen grass fires, prairie fires, devastating the jungles and the forest of California. So, wishing you all good health, Veronica. I hope you do enjoy listening to this poem because this lecture deals on W.S. Auden, an American citizen. Okay, even the charms of the, as a matter of fact, all human beings decay and die. And as a matter of fact, even the charms of children and end with the passing of time, with age and disease. Human beings lose their vitality, grow old, human beings die. Imperfections, flawlessness, faults, and sin are the only things permanent about the human nature. So, uh, this is the realistic point of view of love by W.H. Auden. In the second stanza of the poem Lullaby, or Lay Your Hand, My Love, the poet affirms his love for his mortal beloved. His beloved is not eternal, his beloved is not permanent, he is mortal. The beloved of the poet lover is sleeping with him in his arms after their carnal intercourse, carnal desire is satisfied. The lover thinks then of his beloved and his human love. He uses the word human for his beloved, not like fairy, not like something supernatural. It shows that he does not want to glorify or deify his beloved as a goddess. As in conventional love poetry, we get the heroines as goddess or supernatural, but W.S. Auden's beloved is normal human beings made of flesh and blood who has faults, who has lot of imperfections. But he shows that she is a human being with all human weaknesses, all human faults, with all human sins. He himself is a faithless lover. The lover is himself declaring that I am not faithful, rather, I am faithless. So, he gladly allows him to be inconsistent in his love for his beloved. That's why he says that he wants his beloved to keep sleeping, laying laying her head over on his faithless arms, because the lover himself is faithless. That's why his arms is also faithless, and he wants his beloved also as faithless, because nobody is perfect. Nobody is like a god or goddess. Uh, his faithless arms, which are the arms of a mortal human being, it is now by now very clear that the love between them is not the ideal love, but only the physical love, only the satisfaction of carnal desire. Wahidud Shahid, I am from Rangpur. How are you, Wahidud Shahid? We are talking about a modern American United States of poet. Though he was born in England, but later he got the citizenship of United States of America, and these his poems are studied in honors and masters all over the world. If you want to study English literature, you must go through the poems of W.H. Auden. Okay, I hope you will keep listening to this. This will be helpful for you to be a good speaker in English. If you want to be a good speaker, you must listen to English lecture. Okay, please keep listening and keep commenting. Human life is very, very short, and it ends with the grave. A grave is the place where a dead body is kept under. Everything else is ephemeral, everything else is short lasting, nothing is eternal. The lover knew that his beloved is sinful, his beloved is faithless, but still he considers her as being entirely beautiful. Though the beloved is faithless, sinful, still he considers her very beautiful, very entirely beautiful, completely beautiful. Because you have to love somebody. He or she may be faithless, he or she may be faithful. That does not matter. What matters is you have to make love, you have to love someone. In the third stanza of the poem, the poet speaks of the nature of their physical love. The poet has just said that love comes to an end as soon as physical desire has been enjoyed and passion has been satisfied or gratified. Physical love is only physical and it ends with physical satisfaction. Physical love does not last long. The main aim of physical love is to satisfy carnal desire or physical desire. So it lasts up to the satisfaction of carnal desire. If you are physically satisfied, your love wears out, your love grows old, your love stops spreading out. So this is the human condition, and the poet, our poet W.S. Auden, accepts it as it is and asserts that even this is a great blessing. Though two faithless people are loving each other, two faithless people, two sinful people have been lovers and beloveds, but still it's a great blessing that they have been able to join together to be a good couple for the some time or for the time being. Okay, let's go back to the final stanza of the lullaby. In the final stanza, the poet brings together the ideas of physical love and that ideas of spiritual love. Though love is short-lived, the lovers experience mystical ecstasy. Though you love somebody physically, but after your physical relationship, after your physical desire is satisfied, you get an uh, ecstasy of mysticism in their physical union with each other. The poet means to say that during the ecstasy of physical enjoyment, the souls of the lovers seem to break the bounds of the body and meet and mingle and fuse with each other through their process of physical love. Their carnal love is thus transformed into a spiritual love. Whatever the love is either you love somebody for physical reasons or spiritual reasons. If you have physical relations with each other, your physical relation gets spiritual. A source of mystical bliss, such as the hermit experiences, such as the saints experience in moments of mystic union with God. According to the poet, Venus's inspiration of physical love can lead to the spiritual love, love for all. There is no much difference between the ecstasy of the lovers and the hermit in deep meditation in rocks and glaciers. So, this is all about the analytic summary of Lelavi, and now we are going to talk about the analytic summary of the shield of Achilles. Achilles is one of the greatest hero in Homer's Odyssey. Hector and Achilles. Achilles' heel is a very common phrase which means strong weakness or secret weakness. So let's talk about the analytical summary of the Shield of Achilles, composed by anti-romantic modern poet who had social and political consciousness about the society. The Shield of Achilles. The Shield of Achilles is a famous lyric poem composed by W.H. Auden. The lyric is divided into three parts. It has been subdivided into three groups or three parts. Each part consists of three stanzas. Thus, there are 9 stanzas at all in all. In the first two parts, the first stanza is in short lines, sing-song with Homeric pentameter. Pentameter means a meter having 5 rhymes. The next two stanzas are in longer lines. In this lyric, Auden has used mythical technique popularized by T.S. Eliot or Thomas Stearns Eliot, another Nobel laureate for literature. T.S. Eliot, to make his comment on the modern condition. The mythical method consists in placing side by side the past and the present. The past is contrasted with the present. In the first part of the poem, in the first part of the poem, uh, in the first part of the poem, the beautiful world of the past has been placed with the desolate and barren modern age, like T.S. Eliot has said in his The Wasteland. The world is like a wasteland where nothing grows up because it's totally barren. It has been barren. So he has got some similarities with the another Nobel laureate T.S. Eliot. On the Homeric shield of Achilles of the past, the artist had carved beautiful scenes depicting orchards, well governed cities, calm seas, with beautiful ships sailing on them. But quite different scenes are carved, are made, are printed by and by the artist on a modern world, on a modern shield. There are scenes depicting the artificial and desolate life of the contemporary wasteland. Just think about the great poem Wasteland of about 432 lines, which brought Nobel Prize for Literature to T.S. Eliot. It depicts a vast plain, desolate, black and barren, where nothing grows, without anything to eat or a place for rest and shelter. The present world is shelterless, foodless, restless, is without any culture. In the second stanza of the poem, The Shield of Achilles, it is the religious decay and desolation in the modern age that is commented upon. On the Homeric shield were carved or painted scenes of religious rituals showing cows decorated with flowers and wine and food being served in celebration of some ceremony. But on the modern shield are carved or painted big concentration camps, big ghettos, big torture camps, where pale prisoners of war are tied to the stake and brutally shot dead, mercilessly killed, arbitrarily shot dead, without any mercy. In the third stanza of the poem, The Shield of Achilles, uh, we are told that on the Homeric shield are painted or carved pictures of athletes busy in their games, men and women dancing rhythmically and sweetly. On the modern shield, on the other hand, there are no dancing floors or no playgrounds, but only weed choked fields where you feel choked up, where you feel only carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide being inhaled into your respiratory systems. You get no oxygen, you get nothing to refresh your mind. Thus, by using the mythical technique, Auden has telescoped whole ages of history, of human history, within the compass of a small lyric and commented upon the spiritual decay, spiritual distraction, and spiritual desolation in the modern age. So that's all about the poem The Shield of Achilles. Now let's talk about another analytical summary of W.H. Auden, and the name of the poem is Muse the Buttes Arts. It's a museum located in France. So let's talk about the summary of the poem Muse the Beau Arts. It turns out that when bad things happen to people, other people are usually looking the other way. At least that's what our speaker starts to think as he looks at Peter Bruegel's landscape with the fall of Icarus, a painting that shows a lovely spring morning by the seaside, complete with a tiny pair of legs splashing around in the water. That would be Icarus. He fell out of the sky. It's a long story read about in the symbols, images, wordplays section. Seeing the beautiful landscape coupled with the drowning gets our speaker to thinking, gets our speaker to thinking. See, as far as he can tell, this Bruegel guy has got it just about perfect. Bad things tend to be surrounded by, well, by lots of good things, sunny skies, beautiful trees, pretty people, with all that of good stuff around. Who is going to notice when something bad is going on a few feet away? That's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? No, no. After all, kids don't care when big events happen. At least that's what our speaker realizes. Thinking about all the surroundings in Bruegel's painting leads him to free think a bit about all of the ways that suffering is surrounded by the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Finally, though our speaker pulls his attention back to the painting at Muse the Beaux Arts in France, You could think of this poem as a bit of a backwards logic. Usually we move this from description to analysis. Here, Auden slams us, criticizes us with analysis before giving us context. In other words, we are forced to think about the ways that it's relevant for us before we figure out, before we guess why it matters to him. Pretty nifty, huh? So that's all about the analytic summary of the poem Muse the Viewers. Now let's talk third about his third poem, Law Like Love. That means law is like love or love is like law. This is the fourth poem. So let's talk about the analytic summary of the poem Law Like Love. For gardeners, law is the sun. They all obey the weather and seasons at all times. To the old, law is collected wisdom, while to the young, sensory reality is truth and law. The priest finds the law in scripture, regardless of what the people think. The judge clearly, in light of precedent, explains that law is the law. Scholars see law as socially constructed names for crimes, guided by cultural differences, like different ways that people say good morning and good night. Various people say either that law is fate or law is the state, or that the old idea of law has gone away. Meanwhile, the loud, angry crowd defines law as whatever they want, just as the soft idiot individual claims that law is me, whatever he individually wants the law to be. While it seems we do not know much about the law or what we should and should not do, we at least know that law exists and should not be confused with what we want it to be. Nevertheless, this is difficult because of selfishness and perhaps loves. We want to slip out of our position into an unconcerned condition as though we knew how to set the laws of others' conduct, others' behaviors. The speaker says we can at least compare law or law giving to love. Ultimately, law is like love because we do not really know where it comes from and why it has come. We cannot really compel others, we cannot really make others bound, and yet we cannot flee from it, we cannot run away from it. So, both law and love make us weep. Law and love make us sob. Law and love make us cry. And we seldom keep our commitments in both law and love. So, this is the fourth analytical summary of the poem Law Like Love, composed by W.S. Auden. Now, let's talk about another poem, As I Walked Out One Evening. As I means the poet walked out one evening. One evening means any evening. The title, As I Walked Out One Evening, is a good indication of what follows. It's the speaker's observation and thoughts during an evening stroll or evening walking. Sounds kind of nice, right? Well, stay tuned. And Auden begins by setting the scene. The speaker is out for a mossy. This isn't a nature walk. There is pavement and crowds of people. It's an urban English street. The speaker overhears a lover professing his love. You know, I love you this mass. Uh, I love you this mass and that mass. Of course, audience love quantifiers are pretty special. We are not taking roses or red here. But just as our lover is really hitting his stride, I will love you, dear, I will love you, till China and Africa meet. The speaker is distracted by a new voice. It is the voice of, well, clocks. those pesky measurers of passing time. Their message isn't as warm and fuzzy as the lovers. For the next 9 stanzas, those clocks go on and on about mortality and the inescapability of aging and death. Things take a decidedly negative turn. We are not gonna lie. Shums likes the other better part. By the time the clocks finally jeep it, the lovers are long gone. The poem ends with the original speaker. The poem ends with the original speaker is still out and about long after dark, alone, contemplating the silence and a deep, dark river. Hey, what happened to all that love stuff? Okay, so this is all about the poem as I walked out one evening, and this is a very, very famous, not only famous, it's a world famous poem written by W.H. Auden, The Unknown Citizen, the citizen who has no name, who has no national identity, who has no birth certificate. The Unknown Citizen is a great poem to read in an election year. Fortunately, it's always an election year in the US, so it's always a good time to read the poem. Why? Because so many American politicians that run for office, no matter how interesting and extraordinary they might be, pretend to be the equivalent of the unknown citizen, a sensible, good worker, and consumer, with no major vices or strange opinions, and usually happily married with bright, smiling kids. This is funny because we know that no one's life could possibly be so picture perfect. Even if life were this perfect, we would probably find that person to be dull and even creepy. The person Auden calls the unknown citizen is a composite of information from every poll and survey that politicians use to figure out figure out what the people called swing voters. Voters who swing from left to right, from Democrat to Republican, from Republican to Democrat, and vice versa. Are really like union member? Check. Serves in the military? Check. Reads the morning paper? Check. Buys things on credit? Check. His life is measured in statistics. Nowadays, the speaker wouldn't even have to visit Bureau of Statistics or Procedures Research, could just hop on the internet. With his completely inoffensive background, we think the unknown citizen would do well running for office himself, but Auden's point goes even deeper than that. He is arguing that the myth of a perfect citizen is created by those in power. The fictional monument and epitaph or inscription or writing that celebrate the unknown citizen are actually the means by which this power is exercised or used or wielded. The manipulative state in Auden's poem celebrates the unknown citizen as the ideal citizen. He never thinks about whether a war is just or not. He creates a lot of government revenue because he spends money on expensive taxable appliances. And most importantly, he never rocks the boat by voicing opinions that are different from those around him. He is the kind of person who says, my country, right or wrong. This reminds us of a quote from the writer G.K. Chesterton: my country, right or wrong, is a thing that no patriot would think of saying except in a desperate case. In Auden's opinion, being a conformist and going with the flow all the time isn't just mind numbingly boring, it is also dangerous and unpatriotic. So, this is the seventh poem, The Unknown Citizen, composed by W.S. Auden. There are also some famous poems but the live is going to be a long one. In our next lives, we will talk about different questions like uh, Auden's technical mastery over English language, how Auden is an anti-romantic English romantic, modern romantic poet, what is the concept of love uh, in the with reference to the poems of W.S. Auden, and how is Auden a modern poet. We'll try to explain this serially, one by one. We will also talk about the use of allegory or use of mythology in the poems of W.S. Auden. Then we will also talk about what are the modern problems W.S. Auden has shown throughout his poems and poetry, and how did Auden celebrate nature in his poetry? How did Auden show his social consciousness and political consciousness as being a modern poet of the 20th century? And we will also talk about in deep the poem The Shield of Achilles. And though he is an anti-romantic modern poet, there are some romantic elements in Auden's poems. We will try to scrutinize and sort out the romantic elements in the poems of Auden. And we will also be talking about the Marxist and Freudian influence in Auden's poetry, how Karl Marx and how Sigmund Freud influences him. So I hope you all will try to watch and enjoy listening to those lectures that are upcoming. And now I'd like to uh, put an end to this live session. I hope you did enjoy listening to this, and if you do enjoy listening to this, this is a channel of education. Education is power. Education is a key to building peaceful society. Education is the most powerful weapon by using which you can use to change the world, said Nelson Mandela. So, if you want a peaceful world, if you want a world of solidarity, world of harmony, world of no division, world of no discrimination, you need to be educated. You need to be lettered. You need to be responsive. You need to be sympathetic. You need to be empathetic. So this is a channel of education and this is a channel of entertainment. And that's all about the live session. And the last thing that I always tell you, stay healthy, keep healthy. If you are adult, if you are 18 plus, out of 24 hours, you have to sleep from 7 to 9 hours for a better cardiac health, and you have to eat balanced diet. You have to have an exercise of walking for 30 to 45 minutes every 5 days to 6 days or 4 days out of 7 days in a week, and try to think positive, try to be positive, think positive, be positive. And that's all about it. Wishing you all a good health and good hygiene. Thank you. Bye bye. Good night.